It's a reminder of the ultimate sacrifice soldiers sometimes pay when serving their country. 3 French soldiers were killed on Monday in Mali when an improvised explosive device struck their vehicle during a military operation. The Élysée Palace released these photos of the 3. In a statement, the office of the French president said it saluted the memory of the soldiers with the greatest respect and stressed France's commitment to fighting against terrorism. It happened in the Kabore region of the country. The soldiers were operating as part of France's Operation Barkhane, which aims to drive jihadists out of the Sahel region. France first intervened back in January 2013 when Islamic jihadists overran large parts of the country. The deaths bring to 47 the total number of French soldiers killed in Mali.
A British socialite accused of procuring underage girls for the late financier Jeffrey Epstein has been denied bail. A U.S. judge determined on Monday that Ghislaine Maxwell was a flight risk and should remain in jail until her trial set for July next year. The 59-year-old is accused of recruiting and grooming girls as young as 14 for sex in the mid-1990s, as well as lying under oath. Maxwell has denied any wrongdoing and said in her bail application she wanted to remain in New York to clear her name. The proposed package included more than $22 million posted by her and her husband, and home confinement with 24-hour monitoring. Maxwell's lawyers had argued her conditions were too harsh in the Brooklyn jail where she has been since July. They say she's been subject to constant surveillance and woken up every 15 minutes to ensure she's still breathing.
After much back and forth, the President of the United States signed a $2.3 trillion bill to fund the U.S. government. This bill also had something for China, something that China would not like. Donald Trump has signed a bill into law, a bill that backs the Free Tibet movement. It says Washington should build an international coalition for the rights of Tibetans. The bill also calls for a U.S. consulate in Tibet. This law spells out America's new policy on Tibet, a policy that steps on China's toes. Why China does not like any of it, and where India stands in the new Tibet game. So first things first, what is the new American law? It is called the Tibetan Policy and Support Act of 2020. Let me tell you what it says. Point number 1, it makes 5 broad points. Let's start with point number 1. It talks about the next Dalai Lama. Who will it be? Who will choose him or her? The United States says Tibetans have the right to pick the next Dalai Lama, not the Chinese state.
This is a military maneuver of all the military factions in Gaza Strip, and this is intended to deliver messages to Israel and to the Arab countries. This is coordinated with Iran, and there are a few messages. First message is to Israel and to United States that Gaza Strip is willing to assist Iran if there will be a military attack by the United States or Israel on Iran because of the 1-year anniversary of the assassination of Qasem Soleimani. This is intended to deter Israel. The second message is to the Arab countries that are normalizing with Israel, to show them that Hamas and the other factions are determined to go with the armed struggle against Israel. We will not accept any normalization or peace with Israel.
As Spain marks a grim milestone of 50,000 deaths from the coronavirus, the government has announced new measures. It plans to create a registry to track those who refuse to be vaccinated. Officials say data from the registry won't be made public, but it will be shared with other EU member states. The coronavirus pandemic has hit Spain especially hard. Nearly 1.9 million people have been infected. A new poll found that 28% of Spaniards say they won't be vaccinated. In the capital, many expressed their skepticism about the new vaccine. The government is counting on the vaccine to help stem the tide of new infections. Officials say they hope to have 2/3 of Spain's 47 million people vaccinated against the virus by June.
As people are taking a break this festive season, gangsters in Ocean View are taking up arms. A gang war, we're told, is brewing in the Cape Town area following the murder of an alleged gang leader. On Boxing Day, a man was shot and killed while another was injured, leading to even more unrest. 4 people are in custody.
Ocean View may be quiet for now, but over the weekend it was a different story as warring gang members clashed. One man was fatally shot and his brother wounded. This incident sparked retaliation in the form of 2 cars being torched, a shack being burnt down, and one person's house being petrol bombed. These violent acts stem from the murder of an alleged gang leader earlier this month.
Bangladesh has sent the second batch of Rohingya refugees to the isolated island of Bhashan Char on Tuesday. The refugees were sent to the island in the Bay of Bengal despite calls by human rights groups for a halt to the relocation process. More than 1,500 refugees were moved from the crowded camps in Cox's Bazar, and they were all housed overnight at a transit center before boarding naval ships at Chittagong. The United Nations has said that it has not been allowed to carry out a technical and safety assessment of Bhashan Char. The international body said that it was not involved in the transfer of refugees. Bangladesh also says that it is transferring only people who are willing to go voluntarily, and the move will thereby ease the chronic overcrowding in its camps. But rights groups allege that some of the refugees are being coerced into going.
Ghislaine al-Hathloul had been a prominent activist for years, demanding more rights for women in Saudi Arabia. The UN and rights groups have been demanding her release from a Saudi prison. She'd been arrested in 2018 with other activists. But instead, Saudi media are reporting that a court sentenced Hathloul to 5 years and 8 months in prison. She was found guilty on charges including agitating for change and mounting a campaign against the Saudi royal family. She had campaigned against a ban on women driving, a ban that was lifted the same year. But the kingdom continues to deny that she was arrested for this reason. Her brother says her family will appeal the verdict.
Moderna will be providing 40 million doses of its vaccine to South Korea, which is enough for 20 million people. The deal was reached Monday evening Korea time during a video call between President Moon Jae-in and Moderna CEO Stefan Bancel. The figure is twice as much South Korea had originally sought to buy, and they also agreed to move up the distribution timeline.
The number of doses is double what South Korea was seeking to buy from Moderna. The price is expected to go down with the larger purchase. We have also agreed to speed up distribution to start in the second quarter of next year, rather than the third. The government and Moderna will be making further efforts to move up that timeline.
The final results of the Moderna vaccine trial confirm that its efficacy is similar to Pfizer's. Although it comes with a slightly higher price tag, it can be more easily stored and distributed.
Burkina Faso's President Roch Kabore vowed to unite his country as he was sworn in for a second term on Monday.
Je jure devant le peuple burkinabé.
Escalating Islamist militancy has drawn the once stable West African nation into the turbulence of the wider Sahel region. And more than 2,000 people were killed in Burkina Faso this year in attacks by insurgents linked to al-Qaeda and Islamic State. Ethnic and religious tensions fueled by the militant attacks have also increased, pulling at the seams of once peaceful communities. At his inauguration, Kabore said he would be particularly attentive to matters of national reconciliation, peace and security.